Year 2. No end in sight. Streaming now.
Hello and welcome. You're watching News 9 Live. Our top story at this hour: on the 12th of November, 41 labourers were trapped as portions of the Silkyara-Dandalgaon tunnel collapsed following a landslide. It has been 16 days since the tunnel collapsed and the stranded workers continue to remain trapped. A multi-agency effort is underway to rescue them. Vertical drilling to rescue the 41 trapped workers in Uttarkashi's Silkyara tunnel started yesterday. On day one of the vertical drilling, nearly 30 meters done of 86 meters needed to reach the trapped workers. 6 plans are being deployed to rescue the trapped workers, with the best solution being horizontal drilling. The magna, laser and plasma cutting machines have reached the Silkyara tunnel for the assisting in the removal of the blade. A unit of Madras sappers from the Corps of Engineers of the Indian Army also reached the tunnel site on Sunday morning to assist the rescue operations. Machine equipped for sideways drilling is also expected to arrive at the tunnel during the night. Of course, earlier rescuers planned to manually dig through the debris after removing broken drill. Drone cameras deployed at tunnel site to monitor the rescue operation. Cooked food, fruits being provided to all the trapped workers. Those are the fresh visuals that you are getting on day 16 of the Uttarkashi Tunnel rescue operation. Now, nearly 20 meters of the 86 meters vertical drilling has been done. 6 plans are being deployed to rescue the trapped workers who've been trapped there for 16 days. Laser, plasma and also other equipment, and there you see on your screens right now, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami is meeting the family members of a trapped worker who's been trapped for 16 long days and actually giving him the confidence that everything shall be fine. All that we need, and across India, what we need right now is patience and prayers.
काफ़ी प्रयास सभी ने किया है। इसमें हमारे जो कटर हैं, काटने वाले हैं, उन्होंने आगर मशीन काट के पूरी निकाल ली है। आगे का कुछ पाइप का हिस्सा भी टेढ़ा हुआ है, वो भी नुकसान हुआ है, उसको भी काट के बाहर निकालेंगे। उसके बाद ड्रिलिंग का काम और पुशिंग का काम शुरू होगा। हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि जल्दी जल्दी ये काम पूरा होगा। टनकपुर चंपावत के हमारे समीक भाई वो अंदर हैं, तो उनके परिजनों से मैं मिलने गया था। मैंने उनको आश्वस्त किया है कि पूरा हर प्रयास हम लोग कर रहे हैं। सभी एजेंसियां काम कर रही हैं। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी लगातार इनके बारे में जानकारी भी कर रहे हैं। जरूरी जो काम होने हैं उनके लिए भी लोगों को उन्होंने सबको लगाया है। पूरे देश की एजेंसियां लगी हैं, विदेशों के लोग भी लगे हैं। जल्दी से जल्दी ये काम होगा, यही आश्वस्त किया सबको। सभी का एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ, सेना के लोग, वायुसेना के लोग, थल सेना के लोग, सारे लोगों की, सभी की जो है इसमें सभी का सहयोग है। सभी अपना योगदान कर रहे हैं।
अभी तक 15 मीटर ड्रिलिंग हो चुकी है। उस जरिए 86 मीटर जाना है। 15 मीटर तकरीबन हो गई है ड्रिलिंग, और इसको चेक किया जा रहा है कितनी स्टेबिलिटी है। इसके बाद ये जो जरिया अगर सक्सेसफुल, बिल्कुल कामयाब रहा 86 मीटर तक पहुंचने में, तो आखिर में जाकर टनल का क्रस्ट भी मिलेगा। उस क्रस्ट को भी तोड़ना पड़ेगा और अंदर छेद करके, और फिर इस जरिए 86 मीटर जो है वो बकेट के तरीके से निकालना पड़ेगा हर इंडिविजुअल वर्कर को। इसकी काबिलियत एनडीआरएफ में हमारे बहुत है, उन्होंने बहुत ट्रेनिंग की हुई है। एनडीआरएफ वाले जानते हैं इसके बारे में पूरा, तो वो इसको इस तरीके के अंदर बहुत मदद देंगे।
My colleague Nivriti Mohan gets you the latest from the tunnel collapse site. Listen in.
Every effort here is being made to rescue the workers who are now trapped inside the tunnel for more than 15 days. It's almost 16th day today, and you can see the work is in progress. You can see the machines that have been placed outside the tunnel. There have been many machines, more than 35 big machines are being applied over here, apart from more smaller machines. Now you can see the primary option and the most promising option that the authorities, workers and agencies were working on here was entering through the face of the tunnel from the Silkyara side, and this is the option that is still most promising option that authorities are considering. Now what is happening is that the plasma cutter and the laser cutter is being used to cut the obstructions that have come ahead. Now the stuck part of the auger machine is being cut through the plasma cutter, and the laser cutter is also being used. It is said, as updated by the authorities, they are saying that by 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. All the obstructions will be cut, all the iron obstructions, the girder, it may be girders, the stuck part of the auger machines, whatever it is, it will be cut, and then manual digging can start after that. The manual digging will be done by army here. 2 battalions of army, as told to us by the sources, have been contacted for this work. So manual digging may take around 36 hours or 2 days, as told to us by the authorities. Apart from this option, now you can see on the right side of the tunnel, there is another horizontal digging option being worked out from here. From here they have to cut to the right wall of the tunnel, and it is around 180 meters that they need to dig from there. So authorities were telling us that around 12 meters per day will be dug, and according to this figure, it may take more than 15 days or so to get into the tunnel. And now another option after the horizontal digging option, which is the most promising option from the face, another option that is being worked out is the vertical drilling option that is happening now, and it has started, and almost according to the latest updates that we have, the bigger pipe has drilled up to almost 29 to 30 meters now, and the smaller pipe was also being digged, the lifeline pipe was also being drilled vertically. It had reached for around 70 meters, but the work has stopped for that because they have encountered some obstruction there in the form of some water body or something. But the bigger pipe has been drilled up to 29 to 30 meters. So these are the options right now being worked out. Another option that is being worked out is from the other end of the tunnel, that is on Boycott side. It was told to us that around 4 blasts were done in last few days, and only 9 to 10 meters could be digged, and only 9 to 10 meters of the distance could be covered through that. So that doesn't seem to be that promising an option right now. So the most worked option right now is the face of the tunnel. They are trying their best that the workers who are to be rescued should be rescued from the first option, that is the face of the tunnel, where they have to cover around 60 meters of distance where the muck has fallen and the girders have fallen, the iron rods have fallen. So they have to cover this distance. Around 48 meters was covered when the auger machine was stuck inside. Now how much distance again they will have to cover depends on when the pipe is cut, when the auger machine is pulled out. Does the distance remain same or it is increased by a few meters has to be seen now. But yes, every effort is being made by the authorities and the various agencies. As you can see that all the agencies, the government, the central government, the state government, all are working together so that the workers who are trapped inside the tunnel can be brought out safely.
In the ongoing rescue operation for the trapped workers inside the Uttarkashi Tunnel, authorities are diligently exploring 6 key options on your screens right now. Horizontal drilling has emerged as the primary method with 47 meters already completed, focusing on retrieving the broken auger machine parts using magna as well as plasma cutters. Option 2, vertical drilling, which is supposed to be the second best option, and as nearly 20 of 86 meters of drilling has been done, and there are plans to break the tunnel's crust after reaching its full depth. 3, sideways drilling. Machines for perpendicular drilling over 170 meters are to arrive soon. The construction of a 483-meter rescue tunnel from the Boycotts end utilizing blast techniques has commenced with 5 blasts completed, creating a 10 to 12-meter area. Vertical drilling from the Boycotts end led by ONGC involves a 24-inch drilling and the construction of a 5-kilometer road by the BRO. And if all else fails, and hope to God that it does not fail, drift technology stands as a potential contingency option. Efforts are underway to carry out 3 blasts per day in the tunnel rescue operation. Kilometer road is being constructed by the BRO for the same. So every option is now being put to use. Also, drift technology may be adopted if other options do not work in rescuing the 41 workers who have been stuck in the tunnel for the last 14 days. And my colleague Nivriti Mohan gets you the latest from the tunnel collapse. Take a look.
हमको पता चला यहाँ जो मेस में खाना बना रहा है तो एक काम तो कैसे 2-3 बार कर यहाँ से गया है घर पर, फिर आता था तो बताकर नहीं आता था कि हम कहाँ जा रहे हैं। जब आ जाता था तब बताता था कि हम पहुँच गए हैं। तो पहले जब बात हमने की तो हमने ये कहा कैसे हो बेटे, जो भी बात करेगा तो यही कहेगा। तो कहने लगा हम ठीक हैं और हम कहने खाना उना की व्यवस्था आप घबराते तो नहीं खाना पीना पाते हो? कहला हाँ पाते हैं पापा। घबराते तो नहीं? घबराना मत बेटे, एक दूसरे जितने लोग हो टीम साथ में एक हंसकर जीना है, जंग लड़के बाहर निकलना, घबराना नहीं बेटे। कहला नहीं पापा हारने वाले में के हम नहीं हैं। कहने लगा और ठीक है सबका हाल चाल? हम कहने ठीक है। आप कहा खाना पीना खाए रहना? हमने कहा बेटा आप खाना पीना खाए रहना, हम सब बने रहना, हिम्मत मत हारना, काम जारी है चल रहा है। सरियों का झुंड लोहे का आगे पड़ गया है, गाटर वगैरह, तो वो काटने में समय बीत रहा है। वो सब जब कट के साफ हो जाएगा, जहाँ साफ हुआ तहाँ बाहर हो जाएगा।
मेरे अंदर भाई फंसे हुए हैं जिनका नाम सबा अहमद है, यहाँ कंपनी में वो सीनियर फोरमैन के पोस्ट पे है। मेरे से पर डे उनसे बातचीत होती है, 2-3 बार 4 बार बात होती है। वो लोग सब अंदर में बढ़िया से हैं, लोग मज़े से हैं, कोई तरह का अंदर में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। हर चीज़ खाने पीने का अवेलेबल है, बाहर से भेजा जा रहा है। कोई तरह का जो भी उधर से वो लोग रिक्वायर कर रहे हैं वो सामान इधर से भेज दिया जा रहा है। मैं यहाँ 13 तारीख को आया हूँ, 13 तारीख से अभी तक मैं पर डे कॉन्टेक्ट में हूँ। इस तरह का तो कभी हादसा मैं देखा नहीं हूँ, और जो हादसा हुआ है इसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट भी है, सब शामिल है। जो भी बाहर से भी टीम आई है, बहुत एक्सपर्ट सारे लोग आए हुए हैं। ये लोग सब एकजुट होकर के कंपनी के साथ काम कर रहे हैं। ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, ये बहुत खुशी की बात है।
उम्मीद भी होती है
सब लोगों को यही उम्मीद लगा हुआ है कि जितना जल्दी हो सके वो लोग 41 आदमी को बाहर निकाल लें। वो सब घर के बारे में, सब फैमिली वाले लोगों के बारे में पूछ रहे थे। सब लोग के बारे में बता दिए कि सब लोग बढ़िया से है, कोई तरह के किसी को ये नहीं है, तुम अपना बढ़िया से रहो, तुम्हारे को कोई टेंशन ना लेना है। जो भी है यहाँ से कंपनी जो भी हो रहा है जितना जल्दी है तुम्हारे लोग को बाहर निकालने का प्रयास कर रही है और बहुत जल्दी आप लोग बाहर आ जाओगे। मगर ये भी अपने भाई को बोला हूँ कि जितना भी लोग हैं सब लोगों को मिला के चलो, सब लोगों को हौसला दो कि हौसला नहीं हारना है और जितना जल्दी है आप लोगों को बाहर निकालना। सेहत के बारे में बोला, सबकी सेहत ठीक है, किसी को कोई तरह का ऐसे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सब लोग बढ़िया से रह रहे हैं।
Moving on, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin unveiled a statue of former Prime Minister VP Singh at the premises of Presidency College in Chennai. Former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Akhilesh Yadav was a special guest at the event. The Samajwadi Party and the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam are part of the India bloc and have been pushing for caste census across the country. Both the parties have been engaged in OBC politics, and VP Singh is the person who had actually, if you may recall, implemented the Mandal Commission. DMK and SP seem to be trying to resurrect VP Singh's legacy to play to the OBC votaries ahead of the Lok Sabha polls in 2024. The unveiling of the statue at Presidency College with two significant parties that harp on OBC politics could be laying down the agenda for 2024 on OBC vote consolidation. Former Prime Minister Vishwanath Pratap Singh has left, of course, a huge legacy when it comes to reservations for the OBCs in India. VP Singh, during his short tenure as Prime Minister, implemented the Mandal Commission report's recommendations. Let's take a look at his contribution towards social justice by implementing the Mandal report. VP Singh, leader of the Janata Dal, implemented the Mandal report in the year 1990. Mandal report guaranteed 27% reservation to OBCs in the public sector. VP Singh saw the Mandal report as a tool of changing social composition in the country. VP Singh's Mandal moment validated a constitutional category called the other backward castes or OBC. VP Singh was awarded the Bharat Ratna in 1990 for contribution to social justice. Singh's government crumbled, of course, under pressure from anti-Mandal protests.
The following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
The war between Israel and Hamas has now entered its 52nd day. Let's get you the latest updates right around on your screens. First up, Hamas has freed 17 more hostages held in Gaza on the third day of the truce, including 3 Thai nationals. Total number of freed hostages now stands at 63. 39 Palestinian prisoners have been released by Israel so far. Qatar, Egypt and the United States are actively advocating extension of the truce. Palestinians detained by Israel in the occupied West Bank has reached 3,200 since 7th of October. 200 Palestinians in the West Bank have been killed since 7th of October. Palestinian farmer killed in central Gaza Strip adds to existing tensions. 4 commanders of Hamas's armed wing have been killed. 75 IDF soldiers have been killed in IDF ground operations. 14,854 Palestinians have been killed since the war commenced. So far as hostages are concerned, a 4-year-old American girl is amongst the 17 hostages released by Hamas on Sunday, the latest group in the ongoing ceasefire with Israeli forces. The truce is also allowing a moment of reflection on the war's devastation and the uncertain path ahead. Take a look.
Scenes like these have been unfolding in Israel and the Palestinian territories in recent days, as more hostages are let go by Hamas in exchange for the release of more Palestinians in Israeli prisons. This Israeli government video is said to show some of the young families released on Saturday reuniting, and again on Sunday, another group was freed. 17 hostages, including a 4-year-old American girl. 19 Palestinians were released in return. The temporary truce between Hamas and Israeli forces is allowing more humanitarian aid into Gaza as well, but there's also another effect. It's allowing some Gazans a moment of reflection in the ruins of what was once their home. Reuters journalists found Ibrahim Kaninch in the city of Khan Yunis, near the border with Egypt, feeding bits of cardboard into this fire outside his partially destroyed house. He's making tea. He's saying that gathering around a bonfire like this used to be an Arab tradition, particularly for Palestinians, and although the practice was lost years ago, he muses that the war has brought back some parts of Palestinian heritage. But what's next, he asks. There's no electricity or water. There's shortages of all basic human needs. No house, no shelter, no clothes, food or water. Everything is scarce. Kaninch says the occupation, referring to Israel, can destroy homes, but can't destroy their right to a homeland. The war has leveled large parts of northern Gaza, such as this area of Gaza City, and forced hundreds of thousands from their homes. Negotiators from Qatar and Egypt and the United States government are pushing for the ceasefire to extend beyond its Monday deadline.
In what can be described as heartbreaking, the Israeli army on Sunday released a video of a 9-year-old hostage who was held by Hamas, of course, running into her father's arms as she was brought back to Israel after spending her 9th birthday as a captive in Gaza Strip the day before.
To give him a hug and say I'm sorry again.
Returned in the second group of hostages released by Hamas under a Qatari broker deal with Israel, she appeared in good health along with fellow hostage Sheila Rotham Sushani, whose mother remains in Gaza.
And I have to tell his father, Emily Hand is a closure for me, because unfortunately I'm the one who told her father that she has been found murdered. And a week later, I'm the one who told the father that she probably captured. So it's a kind of a relief for me that she's still alive, she's here, she's with us.
Solvi and other community members were watching the video of the release of the hostages at the Dead Sea Resort, where most of the kibbutz residents were evacuated after the raid.
To give him a hug and say I'm sorry.
Some disturbing news coming in from Vermont, United States, where 3 young Palestinian students were reportedly shot near the University of Vermont's campus in Burlington. Police and federal agents have launched a search for a gunman who's been responsible for the shooting. The authorities suspect the incident was a hate-motivated crime.
Police and federal agents were on Sunday hunting a gunman who shot and wounded 3 college students of Palestinian descent in Vermont in what investigators say they suspect was a hate-motivated crime. Authorities said a man with a pistol shot the 3 20-year-olds on Saturday evening on a street near the University of Vermont in Burlington and then ran away. 2 of the victims are U.S. citizens and the third is a legal U.S. resident, according to police. They added that 2 of the students were wearing the traditional checkered keffiyeh scarf at the time of the attack. The shooting comes amid a rise in anti-Islamic and anti-Semitic incidents reported around the United States since the latest wave of Israel-Palestinian bloodshed erupted in the Middle East on October the 7th. In a statement, Burlington's police chief said, quote, "In this charged moment, no one can look at this incident and not suspect that it may have been a hate-motivated crime." According to police, all 3 remained under medical care on Sunday. 2 of them were in stable conditions, while 1 suffered, quote, "much more serious injuries." The 3 went to universities in different states, but were gathered in Burlington for the Thanksgiving holiday at the home of 1 student's family.
An Israeli father is grappling with the agonizing reality of his 3 children who've been abducted and also his wife allegedly taken by the Hamas. The family is enduring an unimaginable separation with the loved ones held captive in a foreign and undisclosed location deep underground in the confined quarters. Listen in.
But now it's been so long, I'm starting to lose it again. And you know, it's been 31 days and that's too long to be without my kids and my wife, and for them to be held captive in a foreign place, you know, underground in a small room, and I don't know in what situation they are in health-wise, or you know, if they're being fed, taken care of. So I can only hope that everything's all right.
After 49 days in captivity by the Hamas, 85-year-old Yafadar was embraced by her family in Israel, who's now trying to think together how to help her with recovery. Adar was captured from her home in Kibbutz Nir Oz on 7th of October when swarms of Hamas militants carried out a deadly and destructive attack. Dozens were kidnapped from the farming community. Yafa happened to be one of them. Shortly after kidnapping, a video circulating on social media showed Adar being driven in a gold cart. Adar, whose family haven't heard from her since, was part of the first batch of Israeli hostages released from Hamas captivity on 24th of November under an Israeli-Hamas truce deal. Yafa Adar shall not be able to return to her home as large parts of the kibbutz were of course destroyed in the Hamas rampage. The family is now discussing what should be or would be the best place for her to live in safety. Hundreds of Palestinians welcomed freed prisoners in the early hours on Sunday in the West Bank. The footage appeared to show released prisoners being carried on people's shoulders as the crowds cheered, clapped and waved flags in the streets. The Israeli authorities released 39 Palestinian prisoners, including 6 women and 33 children from 2 prisons as part of the second batch of the exchange deal with Hamas. The Palestinian news agency Wafa reported early on Sunday. A Palestinian family near the occupied West Bank city of Hebron welcomed their son after he was released from an Israeli prison on the third day of a 4-day truce between Israel and the Palestinian terrorist faction, Hamas. Crowds gathered outside the home of the released Palestinian prisoner Khalil Zamareh to celebrate his release. The ongoing 4-day truce is the first halt in fighting in the 7 weeks since Hamas killed almost 1,200 people and took about 240 hostages back into Gaza. According to the Palestinian news agency Wafa, Israel freed 39 Palestinians, 6 women and 33 teenagers from 2 prisons. A crowd in Ramallah celebrated the release of Palestinians from Israeli prisons. In Jerusalem, Israeli police restricted celebrations so families received their released prisoners inside their own homes and not in big gatherings. Israeli prisons are overseen by the far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who has long advocated for a crackdown on Palestinian prisoners. Prime Minister of Israel Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday met with security forces inside the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu spoke with soldiers and commanders and received a security briefing as well. His visit took place on the third day of the 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas.
We are here in the Gaza Strip with our heroic fighters. We will make every effort to return our hostages and eventually we will return them all. We have 3 goals for this war: eliminate Hamas, return all our hostages and ensure that Gaza will not become a threat to the state of Israel again. I am here to say to my friends, to the fighters who are telling me the same thing, and I repeat this to you, the citizens of Israel. We will continue until the end, until victory. Nothing will stop us, and we are convinced that we have the strength, the power, the will, and the determination to achieve the war's goal, and that is what we will do.
Moving on, collapsed parliament building in Gaza City and a damaged area around were the evidence of Hamas's war with Israel on Saturday, the 25th of November, a day after the two sides began a 4-day truce to allow the exchange of Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners. Palestinian officials said that Israeli army attacked and destroyed the building during the 50-day war. What lovely visuals. Israel Defense Forces has put out an important message for the civilians of Gaza. These, they say, are conditions that people must follow as part of the ceasefire. It says that for your safety, follow these instructions. IDF's advisory amid period of temporary humanitarian pause. Civilians are allowed to move south, especially southwards of Wadi Gaza. Advised to not move to the north of Gaza Strip. It is, of course, prohibited to enter the sea. It is also prohibited to approach within 1 kilometer of the border with Israel. Palestinian residents of the West Bank city of Jenin bid farewell to 5 dead and assess damages left after an Israeli raid. The Israeli military said it raided Jenin to detain a Palestinian wanted for the alleged involvement in a lethal West Bank ambush in August, as well as 20 other suspects, and that forces engaged with armed terrorists and killed 5 of them. The Jenin Brigades, a local armed group, said its fighters battled the Israeli troops. It did not immediately provide details of any casualties, but local witnesses said at least one of the Palestinians killed in Jenin was a known brigades member. 6 other Palestinians were injured during the shooting of Jenin. Moving on. Brands based in the Western nations are facing the impact of a boycott campaign in Egypt and Jordan over Israeli military's offensive in Gaza. Take a look.
This McDonald's in Giza, Egypt has seen few customers in recent weeks. When Reuters visited in early November, the inside appeared empty. That's because the fast food restaurant has been hit by a boycott over Israel's military offensive in Gaza since the Hamas attack on October 7th. The campaign has targeted Western brands in Arab countries over perceptions about pro-Israeli stances and financial ties. A sign in the window saying the franchise operator and its staff support Palestinians has done little to change those perceptions. Here's Ahmed Izzat, who lives in Cairo.
It is fundamental for us as people supporting our Palestinian brothers to at the very least stop buying the products that help the Zionist entity kill our Palestinian brothers in Gaza.
McDonald's has said it's dismayed by disinformation about its position on the conflict. Its Egyptian franchise has pledged $650,000 in aid to Gaza. An employee at the corporate offices of McDonald's in Egypt said sales at this franchise fell by at least 70% in October and November compared to the same months last year. Starbucks has also been targeted in the boycott campaign, despite the coffee giant saying it's a non-political organization. An Egyptian supplier to Starbucks and McDonald's says he's noticed client demand has slowed down by about 50%. Even smaller businesses are feeling the pinch too. Kiosk owner Issam Abu Shalabi says customers are demanding Egyptian soft drinks instead of products from Israel or the US. I see it as very wrong, he says. What does it mean to drink something or not drink it? Shalabi says if people really want to support Palestinians, they should fight alongside them. But Hassam Mahmoud with Egypt's boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement says the campaign lets people feel like they're making an impact and hitting companies where it hurts. This Cairo supermarket says it's had an uptick in sales because it replaced boycotted products with local ones. In Jordan, this grocery store has signs warning customers if a product is being boycotted. This customer says that if a boycotted item is picked up by mistake, she would return it immediately. Still, some remain skeptical about the effectiveness of boycotts. Take-up has also been uneven, with no major impact seen in some countries, including Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Tunisia.
And at home, Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered prayers to Lord Venkateshwara at the world-renowned Tirumala temple in Andhra Pradesh. Sharing visuals and images from his visit to the temple, he posted on X, and I quote him, "At the Sri Venkateshwara Swami temple in Tirumala, prayed for the good health, well-being and prosperity of 140 crore Indians." Prime Minister arrived in Tirupati on Sunday and was welcomed by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy and Governor S. Abdul Nazir at the Renigunta airport. Those are the visuals of the Prime Minister at the Tirupati temple. After a brief encounter last night, the Delhi Police Special Cell arrested 2 shooters of the Harsh Dala gang from the Mayur Vihar area. The encounter with gang members of the Canada-based Khalistani terrorists took place in Mayur Vihar on the intervening night of Sunday and Monday. Both shooters were absconding after jumping parole in a case in Punjab and had planned to attack apparently a Punjabi singer. Of the 2 accused, one got injured after he was shot in the leg during the encounter. Arshadallah, who left India in 2020, is wanted by the Delhi Police, Punjab Police and as well as the National Investigating Agency or NIA in several cases. 2 more shooters associated with Dallah's gang were also arrested on the 12th of October. New Zealand's new government has decided to scrap the groundbreaking law aimed at banning smoking for future generations. The legislation, which was passed in 2022, included measures such as raising the smoking age to prevent those born after January 2009 from legally buying cigarettes. The plan, which inspired similar discussions in the UK, was designed to save lives and, of course, reduced healthcare costs. However, as part of a coalition agreement, the new government will repeal these amendments, citing the need to fund tax cuts. Public health experts expressed shock, warning the reversal could cost up to 5,000 lives a year and disproportionately impact the Maori communities. The number of people killed by floods from heavy rains in Somalia has climbed to 96 as the East Horn of Africa is battered by heavy rains.
The heavy rains in Somalia have taken the lives of almost 100 people, according to state news agency SONA on Saturday. It said in a post on social media 96 people had perished, adding the figure was confirmed by the head of the country's disaster management agency. The constant downpours are putting fear into the country's residents, like Hawa Ali Ahmadin.
These floods are double compared to the previous ones. You can't take a risk in this one. When it's raining, we sit outside under a tent until the rain slows down. We only come in the house when the rain slows down so that we can cook for the children.
Somalia and the rest of the East Horn of Africa have been battered by relentless heavy rains that begun in October, caused by El Niño and Indian Ocean Dipole weather phenomena. Both are climate patterns that impact ocean surface temperatures and cause above-average rainfall. The flooding has been described as the worst in decades, displacing 700,000 people, according to the United Nations. The intense rains are exacerbating an already existing humanitarian crisis caused by years of insurgency. The head of Somalia's Red Cross, Pascal Cutad, says the worst is not over yet.
We have currently a confluence still of the Indian Ocean Dipole, of El Niño. We have a cyclone building up in the Indian Ocean. We have rains continuing in the highlands of Ethiopia. All of that means that this is not over and it's not yet at its peak. It's getting worse, and these people are going to suffer more.
In neighbouring Kenya, the floods have so far killed 76 people, according to the Kenyan Red Cross, destroying roads and bridges, as well as leaving many residents without shelter, drinking and food supplies, according to the charity Doctors Without Borders.
South Asia has become the global hotspot for air pollution, with studies finding 4 of the world's most polluted countries and 9 of the 10 most polluted cities in the region.
South Asia has become the global hotspot for air pollution, with toxic smog disturbing the lives of millions of people across India, Pakistan and Bangladesh.
Because of severe pollution,
it's become very difficult to breathe. There's a lot of smog, it's difficult to breathe.
Studies found 9 of the world's 10 most polluted cities are in the region. And while causes like industry and vehicles affect most countries, certain major contributors are unique to South Asia. Let's take a closer look. Solid fuel combustion for cooking and heating, human cremation, and the burning of agricultural waste all worsen air quality in the region. In New Delhi, about 38% of this year's pollution has been caused by stubble burning. It's a common farming practice to clear the fields after the rice harvest. An increase in the number of vehicles on the roads as the region develops is also exacerbating the pollution problem. In India and Pakistan, traffic has increased fourfold since the early 2000s. Over the last 2 decades, South Asian countries have seen rapid industrialization, economic development, and population growth, leading to an increased demand for energy and fossil fuels. And even though countries have started trying to curb pollution, the measures so far have had limited effectiveness. To curb stubble burning, for example, governments can offer subsidies on better harvesting machines. But demand has been limited due to machinery costs and long waiting times.
A huge lava flow in Sicily has grabbed everybody's attention, which is pouring out from the southeast crater of Europe's tallest and most active volcano, Mount Etna. Etna Observatory's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology has issued an alert for all the flights flying in the region. This has been done keeping in mind that the international Vincenzo Bellini Airport in Catania is still functioning. Authorities are closely monitoring the situation, emphasizing the safety of air travel and local communities amid this breathtaking, yet potentially hazardous volcanic activity. The world's largest iceberg, A23A, is on the move after nearly 3 decades. The Antarctic giant, which is 3 times the size of New York City, is drifting past the Antarctic Peninsula, propelled by the winds and currents. Scientists are monitoring its rare journey and are unsure if it shall impact wildlife or shipping outlets.
This iceberg is one of the oldest icebergs in Antarctica, as well as being the largest at the moment, and it broke off the ice shelf in 1986, and then it remained grounded on a high point of the sea floor, quite close to where it broke off, and it stayed there for about 30 years since the mid-80s. And then in the recent years, so since around 2020, we first started to see it moving a little bit, and now it's moving relatively quickly up the eastern side of the Antarctic Peninsula and out into the open ocean. Where it was grounded quite close to the continent, the ocean is very cold. It has moved around a little bit, but I think it over time, it's probably just thinned slightly and just got that little bit of extra buoyancy that's allowed it to lift off the ocean floor and get pushed by the ocean currents. You know, an iceberg of this scale has potential to survive for quite a long time in the Southern Ocean, even though it's much warmer and it will start to melt more quickly. It could still make its way reasonably far north up towards kind of South Africa, where it can disrupt shipping.
That's all we have in this bulletin. For all the news and updates, keep watching News9 Live.
ChatGPT It can generate codes and human-like responses through text, write stories, and do a lot more.
I work in a newsroom with anchors, researchers and scriptwriters